Hello, beautiful angels. Okay, we're going to do our introduction video. Today's video won't have any yoga. We're just going to talk about a few terms and stuff like that we'll be using throughout the course of the yoga practice that's going to help you guys to follow along. So I highly encourage you to go ahead and grab a cup of tea or coffee while we sit and chat, and I'm going to just jump right in. So if you want to grab a tea or coffee, pause real quick, go grab you some tea or coffee so we can have a nice chat. So the reason I want to make an intro video before we get started is because this yoga will be a little bit different than what people are normally accustomed to as far as yoga goes. And it's important to me that we're all on the same page as far as the different angles that we're taking with this. So the yoga that I'm putting together is for Jojo. No. My dog's trying to get some food. Come here. No. Come here. Come here, say hi. Do come say hi. Do come say hi. Come say hi. Say hello. Say hello. Just stay here. Okay. No, you can't have my tea. It's mine. It's not yours, it's mine. So yeah, so this yoga is going to be a little bit different. A lot of times when we get to the mat, we're looking for a physical exercise. And it is important to exercise our physical body. I'm definitely not saying it's not. But a lot of times it keeps us from coming back to the mat when we maybe push ourselves too hard, expect more from our bodies than maybe our body is ready to give at the moment. And this particular yoga practice is actually designed, instead of to push ourselves harder and to expect more from ourselves, it's actually designed to help us to learn to hear our bodies and where we are. And then, yeah, we're going to get stronger. And yeah, we're going to get, more toned, I guess, eventually. But really our main priority in this practice is to hear what our bodies have to say, and work on that line. So a couple notes to that end. We want to come from a body positive angle with everything that we do. So it's very important to me that our yoga practice is never a source of any kind of negative self-talk or anything like that. A lot of times we'll hit the mat and we'll be like, oh, I couldn't do this today, or I couldn't do that today. How frustrating. And, if I could just do this and if I could just do that. So that's definitely not what we want to bring into this practice. We want to listen to our bodies and hear what our bodies have to tell us. And we want to work from there. Because in my line of work as a massage therapist, I've learned, very importantly, that the harder you push yourself, the less sustainable your results are going to be. So if you're gentle with yourself, you're usually going to get further. And on that note, also, we can talk about soft ends and hard ends, because this is a phrase that you're going to be hearing me say a lot. I'm going to tell you to look for your soft end. I'm going to tell you to stay away from your hard end. And basically what that means is when we're pulling into a stretch or anything like that, you're going to hit your soft end that feels slightly uncomfortable, right? Like you hit the soft end and you're like, okay, I can feel the stretch now. Like this is me stretching. I feel the stretch. And then a lot of us keep pushing past that point because we think, well, we're supposed to do better. We're supposed to go further. And we push into our hard end. And our hard end is where we think we're supposed to be, which is like, it hurts. It just hurts. And that's not really where we're supposed to go. We don't need to go as far as our hard end. It would be better for us to show up on a regular basis and do more gentle practices more frequently than it would be for us to do more intense practices less frequently. So we want to listen to our body, and we want to hear where our soft ends are, and we want to learn where our soft ends are. In massage therapy, that's where we're learning your range of motion, right? So we're here to familiarize ourselves with our bodies in every way that we can, in a non-judgmental fashion. So when we hit our soft end, cool. Even if it wasn't where we thought we should get, You know what I mean? Even if we get there and we're like, I wish I could go further, that person could go further, or I saw this person go further and I think that my body should go further. It's not productive to put us there. So instead we could say, hey, that's cool. I learned something new about myself. That's not where your soft end's always going to be, especially if you keep working. But we're looking for the tortoise and the hare action here. Like we want to be the tortoise. We don't want to be the hare. So we're not here to push ourselves to extremes. We're here to learn what we need, right? In every step of the way. And that doesn't just mean to stretch only as far as your soft end, but that also means to figure out, hey, am I up for a vigorous practice today, or am I looking for something more restorative? You know, checking in with ourselves every time we hit the mat to see where we are is going to help us to maintain a regular practice instead of just trying to force ourselves into a practice that we're not in the mood for, that our bodies can't handle right now. You know, maybe we need rest. Maybe we need soothing, you know. So our practice is going to be a self-care practice. To sit down every day and make this promise to ourselves every day to check in and figure out what we need that day. It's not here for us to get the most intense workout. It's here for us to really learn to be present with ourselves. And so on that note, we'll go to the choose your own adventure, which I'm going to say quite frequently as well. And that's what I want you to do in your practice with me. I'm going to give you some suggestions, right? But these suggestions are really just to get the juices flowing so that you can start to get to know what your body likes and what your body wants. And that's what's so wonderful about a home practice, is that we get to decide. You know, we're not in a fancy yoga studio having everyone watch us. We're at home. Let's explore. Let's play. Let's have fun. Let's really, really push this and push it emotionally and see what we can learn from ourselves, see what we can learn from our practice. So I'm gonna encourage you on a regular basis to choose your own adventure. And so I'll be often offering numerous poses for us to sort of work through or whatever. And even so, if there's a pose outside of my offerings, if I were in your house and you took a pose outside of my offerings, I would cheer you on and say, that's great. You're learning to listen to yourself. You know, I am just here, a humble adventure guide. Okay. If you want to go off the beaten path, have at it. And I would be so excited to find out that you felt empowered to do so. So choose your own adventure. And then the last thing we'll hit up for this particular video is a phrase that I use a lot in my day-to-day life called segments, right? And this has helped me immensely to be able to focus a little bit more on my mat. I have, most of you know, my brain is all over the place all the time. Yummy matcha. My brain is all over the place all the time. And so a lot of times when I hit my mat, and we all have this problem, it's a totally normal problem, my mind is all over the place on the mat, right? And that's cool. That's great, actually. That's an awesome opportunity for practice, because that's what we're here for. We're here to practice settling our minds, and we're here to practice finding that quiet space, right? And that's why it's called a practice, because a lot of times you're not necessarily going to be able to find it. And so one of my favorite things to do is called segments. And it's basically where, and I learned this from Abraham Hicks, and it's basically where when you wake up in the morning, that's a segment, right? And your goal for that segment is to wake up, right? And then you're going to get out of bed and, you know, maybe like brush your teeth, brew some coffee. That's a new segment. And then your goal for that segment is to like take care of your body needs before you get up and go to work, right? And then maybe you might start getting ready for work, and that's a new segment. And now your goal is to get to work. You know what I mean? And then driving to work is going to be a new segment. What could you do on your segment to work? You know, you could, a lot of times, I'm not working right now, but a lot of times when I'll drive to work or something like that, I'll pick out a nice podcast to listen to, or maybe do like a moving meditation or something like that. And so, but that's a segment, and I get to decide what to do with that segment, right? What do I want to do? What would feel best to me on the way to work? And then when you get to work, that's a new segment, which usually lasts, really long. But like even within work, you might notice your little segments, like your lunch break is going to be a segment, or, for me, massage therapy, a massage is a segment, and then after that segment, I get to start a new segment. And so taking this idea of segments into my yoga practice has helped me immensely, but practicing it outside of my yoga practice has also helped too, because by the time I got to the yoga mat, I kind of already had those muscles in my brain worked, right? And so when you get to the yoga mat, you've started a new segment, and this segment is all about self-care. This is literally your daily practice of self-care, right? So when you get on the yoga mat, you can, and I know it's going to be hard, it's not going to work every time, but you can allow yourself to let go of the things that are happening outside of the yoga mat, because you won't fix them here. That's not what this segment is for. This segment is for self-care. This segment is for, whatever you need that day. That's why we talk about choose your own adventure. Maybe you get to the mat, you need to rest. Cool. Maybe you get to the mat and you need some energy because you've got a big day ahead of you and you want to amp yourself up. That's cool too. That's why we use our segments. When we get to the mat, we get to decide what to do with this segment right here. And then when we decide it, for me anyways, it gives me permission to let go of the things that don't serve that purpose, that don't serve the purpose of this segment, right? So I can, when I hear, something float off into my head, maybe about my son or, about work or about money or whatever, I can say, hey, appreciate it. It's, my brain is trying to keep me safe, trying to keep me clothed and fed and all those things. Like all of those little thoughts that flit across your mind are your brain's weird way of trying to survive, trying to help you to survive. So you can say, hey, thank you. That's great. But right now, this is what we're doing. So I almost treat we call it monkey brain. I almost treat my little monkey brain like a small kid who, is lovingly and adorably interrupting me to make sure that everything's okay. And okay, sweetie, it's okay. Like, we're here now. Let's focus on this. And we can take that segment and allow ourselves to relax into it and say, okay, we're not going to solve anything in this next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however long we're going to be on the mat, right? So we can let it go. We don't have to worry about it. We can choose to spend this one segment, this one little bitty segment on ourselves, right? And so that's segments. So those are a few of the really big, glossary terms, I guess, that you'll hear from me a lot. And so I wanted to kind of let you know what those are going to be about. And I wanted to get you ready to step into this, because I know a lot of times when we step into a yoga practice, we kind of expect to get our butts kicked most of the time, And whereas sometimes I do really appreciate and enjoy the energy that builds when you get your butt kicked during a yoga sequence, that's not exactly what we're going for in this practice. We're going for hearing ourselves. And honestly, a lot of us are getting our butts kicked all day, every day. So we're going for hearing ourselves, and we're going for learning what we want and what we need. And we're going for making space for those things. We're going for recognizing when we need accommodations and support, and allowing ourselves to receive those accommodations and support on our mat, right? And so and we'll talk about it more while we're working on it, but that's why we'll be using, like pillows and blankets and things like that to help support us, prop us up during our postures, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, but yeah, basically I think those are the main things that I wanted to cover before we really kick in. Our next video will be a little physical, but it won't be like a full-on yoga routine. Our next video will be, it's going to be covering like preparing yourself in your space and finding a comfortable starting point. Basically, we're going to cover a few different ways that we can start out our practice so that we can start learning how to check in and listen to ourselves, and maybe start streamlining that checking in process. Because like the more I practice checking in with myself when I sit down on my mat, the better I get, the faster I get at the check-in process, and the faster I get at going, okay, I recognize, you know, my hips are tighter today, or I recognize that my neck is, you know, hurting today, or something like that. I'm getting better and faster at recognizing those things. So yeah, so our next video will be learning how to settle in and learning how to start checking in with our bodies, and also learning how to create the space for us to do so. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited. I'm really enjoying putting all this information together for you guys. When quarantine first started, I tried really hard to get some stretching videos out for my clients, my massage clients. I've been so worried about my massage clients. I know that quarantine has been really hard on a lot of people, and most of my massage clients had chronic pain, and you know, it's even harder to get, they were already having a hard time getting out to their massages. So it's even harder now. And I was so concerned. I wanted to make a stretching video, but honestly, it was really hard. I was so anxious and nervous, and I really didn't know what I was talking about. Like, I knew what it felt like, the sensations in my body, but I didn't know the words to describe it to you guys. And so that's why I started the yoga practice, because I'm really passionate about this. And I think that it will help a lot of people. Massage is wonderful, but it's not a complete self-care regimen. And I am passionate that home activities, homework and stuff like that helps immensely. And a few of my clients would absolutely tell you that if they didn't do their homework, they would be in a lot of pain. My favorite clients are the ones that do their homework, because it really does help. It really does help. So knowing that I'm a massage therapist, and I have chronic pain, and these are some of the techniques that I have used during quarantine to manage my own chronic pain, and to really make great progress in my physical strength and everything like that. This is what I would like to impart to all of you guys, and also to make great progress in my emotional health. It's just been wonderful, and I'm so excited to share. So I love you guys so much. I can't wait. I'll be back soon with a new video, and yeah, have a good night. Be good to yourselves. Drink your water. Take your medicine. Eat your food. I love you so much, and I'm going to talk to you later.